kind of wanted to start off and just get a bit of your background in terms of, your work as a HR advisor and just in the landscape of employment law.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started my business, which is Orchard Employment Law, back in 2015. We're based here in the UK. Prior to that, I was an employment law specialist working for a national employment law firm. And I saw some gaps. I thought, hang on a second, if employers could just get some of the advice earlier on, then they'd stay out of litigation. And sometimes people say you work for the bad guy, but I feel like it's 360. If you tell employers how and what they can do, then employees get looked after it in the long run. So started by myself on my sofa, not even that sophisticated to work around the kitchen table, but yeah, from the sofa. And over the last almost 9 years, we've grown. We're now supporting over 300 employers in the UK, but also some in Asia, some in Europe as well. So we like to say we're global, baby. That's what we say.
What sort of cases do you think do clients kind of come with you most, or cases that kind of pop up more regularly within the employment law landscape?
Oh, there's so much. So, I think the thing is, particularly here in the UK, employment law is really heavily weighted towards the employee, and I guess so it should be. They're the ones that are vulnerable, and so, last count there are about 83 types of case which an employee could bring upon an employer, but there were like zero an employer could bring on an employer. That's not even an exaggeration. It's exactly how it is. So we get all sorts of questions, like, day to day, people might ask us about holiday pay, but deeper than that, people want to know how they protect their business. So somebody's leaving and they're threatening to take all my clients. What do I do there? Or so and so has said they've got a disability and they can't come into the office, or they can't do the work this way. How do I manage that? And then, of course, we have like the disciplinaries and grievances, day-to-day disciplinaries and grievances that you get quite often. And anytime you get more than two or three people together, I guess, you then start to get personality clashes and just different ways of doing things. And so it's navigating your way through those issues.
And when it comes to like new laws, I know there's been a couple of new employment laws in the UK and also in Europe this
Mm.
year. Like, what are the practical steps that employers can take to kind of stay well informed?
Um, so there are some things you can sign up to. Of course, I'm going to say sign up to our newsletter, but aside from our newsletter, there are some other good newsletters out there. Even Google, you can actually there's a function where you can say to notify me of like tags. So you could say notify me of things when it says HR employment law, and then you can get a daily email telling you things that have been in the news. That's something that's quite good. It's important to remember that, like with any law, their laws are made in two ways, really. One is through like acts of parliament, whether that's a European or your national parliament. And so we get lots of notice when there's going to be a change in that law. We'll have, some quite often almost a year. So again, in the UK, we've got the new workers' right for those on 0-hour contracts who will have the right to request um, more notice of what their working pattern is going to be, so that they're not having to be sort of all over the place. We were told about that last month, and actually that's not going to come into place until maybe September 2024. So you can see that you get lots of notice of that. But then it's also important to remember that the other way in which laws are made is when people challenge a law, and that goes through the court system. And then when it gets to the highest court in the land, if a judge makes a decision, that decision then creates what we call case law. And that's harder to keep up with because, we're not getting this big act of parliament like the Equality Act or, something like that. That's harder to keep up with. And that's why I think it's important to sign up to blogs.
Perfect. Yeah. And do you think like anything like remote work now is such a huge thing after like the global pandemic? Has employment law kind of changed around that? Have you noticed any like trends or?
Yeah, I mean, I think more what's changed is it's an HR issue rather than an employment law issue. So, aside from when the government said work from home, and then they said, okay, we're moving that directive, they haven't changed the law as yet say people have the right to work remotely or hybridly. But what has changed is people's ideologies and people's ideas of what they want to do. They understand work-life balance and no longer willing to travel 60, 90 miles round trip if they think something can be done smarter and easier from home. And so employees are kind of pushing things to change. So although it hasn't changed legally, it should actually, if you want the good candidates, then you've got to do what you need to do in order to keep or to attract good candidates. So yeah, so, certainly we saw lots of offices closing in the during the pandemic and afterwards. And then we saw people, then that what we're seeing now is the opposite. Some people saying, no, there's no way I want to go back to work. But some people saying, actually, I prefer it because, what's struggling is I'm struggling with my social identity and my mental health, because whilst working from home can be really good, when you're adults, if you don't have a huge group of family and friends, then you might not be getting to interact with people. Let's face it, you can do everything from home. You can order your shopping from home, you can watch things from home. So I am seeing more people opting to do a hybrid model, whether that's 2 to 3 days a week in the office, rather than fully remote.
Are there any kind of trends, like technologically or otherwise, like that you've kind of seen in the last year, or that you kind of can pinpoint going into the future that you think will be like a big topic in HR?
Yeah, I mean, AI is, so I guess it's no surprise. AI is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. It's only going to get better. So everything from, there's some things that we have to be concerned about. So I have heard of some issues where even with interviewing people, they think they're interviewing somebody remotely, and they are interviewing the person remotely, but they may have an AI function which is feeding them the answers. So it's whether is that really the person's answer, or even having a look at CVs and application forms using things like ChatGPT and that sort of function to draft answers. And so I guess as an interviewer, you've got to test that person more thoroughly to make sure they actually know what they're talking about and they didn't use a bot. So that's the negative side. But the positives are that you can get things done so much quicker. So I've been to a few training courses for employment lawyers and for HR professionals, which are telling us use AI. Like, don't spend how many hours drafting a policy. Why don't you get AI to draft it for you? But then you still do, we're not going to go out of business, because you still do need your expertise to fine tune. There's only so much the bot can do, right? So you still need your expertise to take out the riffraff, take out the rubbish, and to say, actually, this could be worded better, or this is more suited in this way. So it's here to stay. And I think some of it's good, but some of it we're going to have to be quite careful.
We're like a HR solution. So I was just wondering, like, have you, as a HR expert, are there kind of certain areas you would like recommend to HR professionals to look for when they're kind of, getting on board with all these new HR solutions that are coming to market?
Yeah. So usability is definitely like the first thing. So although you think to ourselves, everybody knows how to use an app, everyone knows how to use a computer, you've got it on your phone, your tablet, whatever. Some people find things more difficult than others. So something's easy to use for people, all levels, and that's something definitely to look for. And making sure that it's going to grow with you. So, to think about one of my clients, when I started working with them 5 years ago, they had less than 10 employees, and they've seen exponential growth. They've got like 400 employees now, but they're outgrowing systems. And that's a problem, because they then don't want to start a new system. So make sure that the system you're using can grow with the type of how you intend to grow if you are that business, or if you're an HR consultant or advisor and you're thinking about it for your clients, think about what is most suited to them in terms of what their plans are in the future. And that's not to say that these HR solutions, they won't grow and change, but have those conversations with them.
Going forward to 2024, like what is the work of Orchard Employment Law going to look like, and what are your plans moving forward?
Oh, more of the same, really. So the good thing about working in that employment or HR field is no 2 days are the same. Like, every day is different, and we'll be taking on more and more clients, which means every day will continue to be different. Yeah, so more of the same, really. We've got quite a few tribunal cases coming up, so I'm looking forward to it. I shouldn't really say that, but I quite enjoy it. I'm looking forward to representing my clients. A few interesting discrimination cases coming up, some unfair dismissals, maternity discrimination case coming up as well. So that's exciting for me. As a team, we'll probably continue to grow. And yeah, just continuing to help people, really.